Hey everybody, Coach Cliff, exercise physiologist and sports nutritionist and trainer. This is part two of why diets, I don't think I named it this, but why diets suck part two. Everyone has been on diets and uses diets. This is number two. This is probably the most important one. And not all diets work in this manner where we decrease our insulin sensitivity, but a lot do. And I'll show you the ones that do. Okay. So in 1985, America declared war on fat. I remember it happening. I was just starting college. I believed it, that all fat was bad for you. And we would lower our fat levels. We would try to keep it under 10%. Any kind of fat. All fat was bad because if you ate any fat, it made you fat. And you had problems with your heart and with cancer and everything. So they said no fat in the diet. Carbs were great. Protein, good, but just the amount that you need. So that's completely wrong, and I'm going to show you why. So we have now in America, so 14% of Americans were considered overweight in 1960. So 1960, 14% of Americans considered overweight. Today, over 50% are considered obese, a different determination than being overweight. Most Americans are overweight. 50% are obese. That's a collective health problem, and it's only going to get worse. So here's the thing. When they declared war on fat, the food manufacturers had to take the foods and make them taste good so they could sell them and they could make money. What did they do? They added sugar and they added chemicals. They had to make money. So anytime you're at the grocery store and you see anything that says low fat on the label, put it back. It's the wrong thing to have. I'll teach you all that when we get into the course. Because eating like that, higher sugar, higher glycemic. Now, this has been around. I think we as collective as Americans have known this for 20 years. This isn't anything breaking and new, but this is just one of the reasons. We know about insulin resistance, and it's gotten a lot of press. So insulin resistance is a condition where your cells, the cells in your body, I'm going to draw some cells over here. So your cells over there can no longer use insulin as a hormone because it gets blunted. So you release from your pancreas, the insulin is released from the beta cells of the pancreas. So your insulin goes out. Remember this. Remember when I was in college, insulin is the put away hormone. Put it away, put it away, put it away. It goes into your bloodstream and it will pick up a molecule of glucose and put it away into your muscle. Now there's two different muscle cells. The other place it puts it is into your liver. If you have too much food, mainly carbs, sugar, glucose, because I say that because protein and fat through a process called gluconeogenesis can become molecules of glucose. So when you need that, your body will do that. Anyway, when you have enough glucose and it fills up your muscle cells and your liver cells, then it goes into your fat cells. That's why we get fat right there. The next problem with it is that the more we do this, the more we slam this and slam this and slam this when we eat high sugary meals, and we get this huge insulin spike. I don't know why I did that. That's new. You get this big insulin spike in your bloodstream. These receptor sites start becoming numb and basically stop working. I mean, it takes a while to get there. So then what happens is that human beings, Americans, start becoming this thing called metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is defined as having three of these five things. One being obesity. Makes sense. Number two would be just going to write it like that. High blood pressure would be number two. High blood triglycerides being fat, so having too much fat just sitting in your bloodstream. High blood sugar, we know that. In other words, it's sitting in your bloodstream. Usually they'll take that test on a fasted stomach, so you fasted all night long, you didn't eat anything before you go in. If there's fat and sugar sitting in your bloodstream, that's a problem. Or having low HDL. HDL is high density lipoprotein. So you have low amounts of HDL. So low amounts of HDL, we call this the good cholesterol, which I don't like. It is good, but that would mean that LDL, low density lipoprotein is bad. We always say the LDLs are your bad cholesterol, and it's not. There's a purpose for it in your body. It just needs to be where HDL and LDL, if you go to the doctor and you get a blood test done and they say your cholesterol is high, do a little research on your own. Look at your HDL to LDL ratio. If it is higher than 1 to 4, so if it is 1.5 to 4 or 2 to 4, that would be high. If it is 1 to 4, you're gold. Your HDL is doing the job it needs to clear out the low density lipoproteins, the very low density lipoproteins, the VLDLs, which create foam cells in your bloodstream, in your aorta, and creates plaque. So that's where the problem is. But if you have HDL, it's going and literally clearing that out. Okay, let me erase some of this stuff. Those are the things, those are the 5 different things. Erase all of it. Okay. Those are the things that cause problems in our body, is when you have constant insulin going up, constantly going high. And it does that because we spike our insulin by eating foods that are digested very fast. Sugar, ice cream, candies, pies. Now, here's the other thing too, is that this isn't just sugar, but you add sugar and fat together, wicked combination. The more insulin that floods these gates, the more congested these gates and these receptors become, like a big, huge traffic jam. It's this moment that your cells become deaf to insulin. They just start ignoring it. And then you start having what's called insulin resistance. So that's one of the big problems. And so one of the ways to do this is to get a blood test, get this done, and find out where your blood sugar is. Keeping your blood sugar at a level, when you eat anything, when you eat fat, protein, carbohydrates, your insulin is supposed to spike. We don't want this huge spike that comes down over a long period of time. We want this little bump that comes down very quickly. We want insulin. We want to take the food and put it away into our cells. If you don't, you're not going to live. But when you have this spike, you're slamming your receptor sites over and over and over with that traffic jam. It becomes numb to it, and they just stop working. That's all I got for today. Part 3 is coming tomorrow. Talk soon.